p.m. We already have been live for, I think, a few minutes, but it's time to kick off the show, start the show with a bang. I welcome everybody to the Dutch Cosplay Discord end of the year show, where we will take a look at if 2017 was the biggest, baddest, just the cream of the crop year for us cosplayers. And I'm joined today by, of course, Tran. And Tran in the, let me see. He's on my right. Wow. And to my left, Roxy from Roxy Cosplay, also known as Silver Nowak on the socials. And on her left is Terra Claim, of course, from the same cosplay page. And we are joined by Yuna from Pandora's Cosplay Box. I knew I would mess that up. And of course, Jinoga, also known as Jin.
Hi.
Alright, so I've prepared a few questions for you two. And I want to start off with you, Yuna. And you are known from, if I recall correctly, Future Luke from Professor Layton. Makoto Tachibana from Free Eternal Summer. You are currently working on Matthew Holt from Voltron.
I actually
also did
Matthew already, but I think I didn't change my bio, or did I?
At least
I finished him for DCC, but it fell apart during GCC, so it's actually a work in progress again.
So still under progress. All right, and you've done a, excuse my pronunciation, Sugawara Koshi.
Yeah.
You can correct me on that one.
Sugawara Koshi.
And of course, thanks. And Yuna from Magi, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So of course the standard question for how long have you been cosplaying?
I have been cosplaying since February 2015. I suppose I started on Tsunacon 2015. Yeah, and yeah, that's what.
All right. So you've been in the cosplay scene for a while now, and yeah, did a friend take you to a convention and did you saw the phenomenon cosplay, like I want to do it myself, or was it just like?
It was actually, I started with art and I found someone through social media and we were like, oh my god, you are both Dutch, let's be friends. And she invited me like, oh, you should go to a convention, go cosplay from this series. And I'm like, okay, I do not know what cosplay is, but I will join you. And then I went cosplaying to my first convention and I met an entire group of amazing people and I basically got dragged into the cosplay world. But it was a trashy cosplay without a wig, without lenses, without makeup even. I did not know what cosplay was and I started cosplaying.
All right, so basically how everyone starts out cosplaying, just buy a wig, just grab whatever you can find, put it on, and hey, maybe resemble it.
I actually did put effort into making the costume, because I already had experience with making clothing, but no, I did not know about cosplay even existing, so we just made the costume. The costume is like okay quality, only my makeup and hair and everything else sucked.
Yeah, I can remember my kind of first cosplay. Yeah, it was. I think it's worse than I think your first try. So you told us about someone told you to go to a convention and you met a lot of cosplayers there. And you also said that you had art as your inspiration. Was art always an inspiration for your cosplays, or did the inspiration also come from movies or anime series themselves?
I was basically always drawing and mostly drawing anime, but that's like the stupid part. I drew anime, I drew manga style, but I did not know about the existence of mangas and anime in general besides Pokemon. So just when I met her, when I started on social media, I just like a new world opened. I discovered manga, I discovered anime existed. I binge watched the most cliche animes like Black Butler, and I was in love, and I was immediately like, okay, I gotta cosplay this. And it has always been manga and anime only, and now also Professor Layton, which is the game I used to play, but furthermore, only anime.
All right. And it's also the part of being a character that you like, cosplaying as the character. Is that something that is the most appealing to you? Is that what
Yes.
makes cosplay fun for you?
I mostly cosplay out of the love of a character or for a character. It's like if I do not like a character, I will not cosplay it. If I see a character that I absolutely love, then I will cosplay it. That's
I think it's like that for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's like that for most of us.
Yeah.
But like some people are like, oh, I like the anime, now I gotta cosplay for it. I don't care about the characters at all. Or you get invited by your friends like cosplay this, and some people are like, oh sure, I will cosplay it, but they do it for their friends and not for themselves. And for me it's like really important that I will enjoy it.
Is it also something that Ezra, that you, Jin, that you is it an important part for you, like if you're going to cosplay a character, that you like the character yourself, or?
Yeah, I usually, when I cosplay, I just love the character. I don't think I ever had a character cosplay that I didn't like. I don't think I can do that. But and again, I think most people don't cosplay a character they don't like. But there's people out there. But...
And if you notice that someone is cosplaying a character, let's say, a good example of this year was, of course, Nier Automata. I think of course 2B. I have noticed that there were people who were like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna cosplay 2B" out of nowhere. At least to me, it was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it something you could pull off, Ezra or Yuna or Roxy? Or Frans?
To me, I don't think I can do that, because if I just really want to like the character, that's just something a must. I usually base my cosplays on characters I love, not on the design. Well, the design is also fun, but usually it's if I like the character.
Yeah, same here. I base it on character-wise design, and if the entire package is right, then I'll cosplay it.
And of course, at least when you are going to cosplay a character, I think you will put in some research. There might be some characters, like I can imagine from Free Eternal Summer, that have some kind of their own characters, their own mannerisms. Yuna, is it something you look into or you try to portray in like at a convention? Like,
I actually choose my characters based on my own character. I am known on conventions for being the mom friend, and from Free Eternal Summer, Makoto is the mom of the squad. It makes sense in that way. I cosplay the mom characters. Sugawara Koshi is also the mom of the team. It's just, yeah, I base it on my own character. So portraying it on a convention is not that hard.
So it almost feels natural to portray such a character.
Yeah, if I were to cosplay Bakugo, for example, I would not be able to get in character at all, because he's just an angry boy all the time. I will not manage.
So to jump on that question, Roxy,
Yeah.
of course, Bakugo has its own characteristics. Is that something you can relate to, or is it just that?
No.
Are there other things that appeal to you?
I cosplay a lot of, I don't know, angry, or sometimes they're just, I don't know. If you look at all the characters I cosplay, a lot of them have some things in common.
Like, there's something peculiar about them, something that makes them stand out. Like Bakugo looks angry and annoyed all the time.
I think
Yeah,
she means
yeah.
they all have something similar in character.
But it's not because I relate to that character. I think it's because
You like the character.
I just like the character, of course, and
Right.
I also often don't cosplay characters that are like what I am in real life.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. So, of course, when you cosplay like Bakugo, or I know Esra, you have cosplayed Tracer. Those characters are very popular at the moment. Do you get a lot of attention at conventions? Like, I can imagine, like, when you have a popular cosplay, like let's say 2B, and it's all around the internet and all in the convention scene and cosplay scene, like photographers would be like, you can put like your foot inside the convention area and be like, oh wait, there are 10 photographers. Damn it. Now I have to shoot with them. Is that something you guys can all relate to, or does that depend on the cosplay?
It depends on the cosplay.
Yeah.
Really.
I feel like with a lot of cosplays, it's kind of the same. But I feel like if you have a character like 2B, and if it's really a character that has been done a lot, and you see a lot of people having the same cosplay, I think it's easier to not have this, because there's a lot of the same ones out there, if you know what I mean. So like, if it's popular but it's not done a lot, then maybe it's going to be get more attention, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you will be recognized much quickly than like other cosplays.
What I notice with characters that are popular, then people will make comments about it, like
mean comments.
No, I mean when I'm dressed as Bakugo, then people will come up to me and suddenly scream or something. I don't know why, but
Oh my god!
I have people do that in public to me.
With characters that are not popular, that people will not do that.
No, it's like the hype characters. People basically assume you're into the crazy fandom just as much as they are, so they will come up to you with all the crazy ships and will take a picture with Deku because Bakugo x Deku is my OTP. That kind of stuff. It is true. But if like I cosplay Yunnan, and Yunnan is that side character of Magi that nobody, maybe not a lot of people know, but he looks really executive, so like with the big head and the feathers, so it will draw photographers only for the aesthetic looks and not necessarily for the character itself. I know this because a friend of mine, we were having a meeting and a friend of mine took my head and put it on herself and walked around with it because she liked it. It's a convention, we're having fun. And a photographer walks up to her like, can I take pictures of you? And she's like, oh, sure, let me give the head back. Oh, no, keep the head on. I like the head. And I was like, okay, so someone else is having a photo shoot because of the head? And it's not like, the head is not originally from the character, it's my head. So I was like, okay, tag me in the head. But most people like look at aesthetics and not necessarily popularity, I think.
Yeah. So is that a big factor in your cosplays, or is it just I want to cosplay a character that suits me, I want to have fun? Because I know people who really get the feeling of feeling down because photographers aren't coming to them to shoot or take pictures of them. So, and I think you should have fun regardless of the cosplay that you wear. But maybe I'm an old guy and
it's both.
Old fashioned.
Like if it's I'm like to say it a little bit rusty, I'm like a slut for good character design. So if it's like a really big hooded cape person guy with a good character, I will cosplay it. I will suffer, but I will cosplay it.
Cosplay is suffering in that regard.
Cosplay is pure suffering. So my next cosplay will be Lyndall from the Ancient Magus Bride, and he's like big robes and long hair again, and it's just big, good aesthetic, and I love it.
And it's a mom character, right?
Also a mom character, of course.
Once again, have long blonde hair. I think I have a problem.
Well, cosplay, of course, is suffering, but I can't imagine. I mean, I am baked right now at the moment. I mean, like with my sleeping bag, but it's comfy. So but Ezra, is the part of attracting photographers? Do you cosplay do you have cosplays that you want photographers to take pictures of you, or are you like it's more fun for me?
Well, it is for fun, obviously, but I don't mind if photographers want to have a picture. It's always okay.
Yeah. I can remember at AnimeCon this year when you wore your normal tracer, and I think I saw you with the leather jacket, and I was thinking to myself, how can that girl survive and breathe and walk around? I mean, I was sweating and I was wearing thin clothes, so
well, I actually didn't stay that long in that cosplay. I went home very, very early because it was just not doable. It was not real leather, so it was not breathable. It was very, very hot, and then the fur on her collar, it was just... I could literally feel like sweat drops going down my spine. It was terrible.
And did you also experience something like that, Yunan, or not that? Yeah, not that extreme, like sweating or it's heavy or.
I barely can remember a con that it didn't happen. Actually, my Yunan cosplay is like one of my first cosplays, so it's made out of shitty synthetic fabric. And it's not pretty. It's like I wear it on Abunai every year, and we all know Abunai is like
suffering. It's an oven.
Suffering, and it's so gross and sweaty. And I always choose to cosplay characters that just required so much fabric. Like this is all black, so this is guaranteed to be suffering as well. The next cosplay is layers and layers and layers. It's guaranteed to be suffering as well.
Yeah. You're gonna
I'm still planning on making armor. Guaranteed that is suffering as well. I cannot imagine convention without suffering, actually.
It's also second nature. And the use of materials in the cosplay, is that something that you guys take in consideration a lot, or do you want a cosplay to stay as much truth to the source material? Like, I mean, I can imagine that like you want to have a leather jacket, like with Tracer, for example, but you want to make it breathable. or is that something like, yeah, I want it to be done and wear it?
I want to be accurate, but the thing is, I'm not gonna buy real leather. That's too expensive, and I don't want it. And fake leather is just much cheaper. It looks pretty good, but it's just not breathable. And there's nothing else besides fake leather that's close to real leather or looks like real leather. So you kind of have to, you know? You don't have a choice. You don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Unless you want to make it out of a material that doesn't really look like the original. I mean, you can do that, but...
All right.
We have a question in the chat, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
From Canal Dobola. Have any one of you changed cosplay during an event, like used to different cosplays or even more?
Yes.
I think everybody did. Yeah.
I think
I mean like...
I'll go first. Go.
I think Ezra's freezing up, but
I'm lagging.
To be honest, if I can speak for myself, when I see people post their entire lineups and I see like, all right, they have 5 cosplays, so the convention is like 2 days. How does that fit? They're like 2 days. You have 2 cosplays, but I'm like, yeah, that's something you kind of get used to, I guess. Is it something you guys can relate to, or it's just
Like, I try my best to do 1 cosplay a day when a convention happens, but sometimes I know once on a convention, Abunai, it was my first Abunai, and I just finished my Yunnan cosplay. But on the day itself, I would do Ayano in the morning from Kaguru Project and Haruka in the evening with the squad. And then I saw Magi cosplayers and I was like, oh my god, I have a Magi cosplay, I'm just gonna wear it. So I went from like supposedly 2 cosplays on one day, I kept switching because I was so hyped about everything. But sometimes you just want to switch because you're probably suffering and you need the rest before, let's say, Deshima, and you want to wear something comfortable.
Yeah.
I think we all have experience with it.
I think we all have indeed. That's right. Do you have like a limit for yourself in terms of the amount of cosplays you're gonna take, or is it like I'm just gonna see what I'm going to bring at a convention?
Well, I'm not doing more cosplays than 1 on one day, because usually I'm very last minute with working on my cosplays, so it's kind of already a lot of stress, and finding like plans to fit it in for me is something I can't do. But I do, and I will probably, if a costume is very uncomfortable, like Tracer was, but I didn't know, I will probably take a kigurumi with me or a onesie for the evening in the future, because last time was just hell. So I will probably do that, but I don't think I will take a cosplay with me unless it's very normal-ish, casually, if you know what I mean. Not very detailed or annoying to wear, then maybe. But not more than 2 on one day.
Yeah, like I said, I can't imagine bringing 5 cosplays with you to a weekend convention and be like, all right, so I have like a very small car, or I have to travel with public transport. I have like 6 bags or something, like this big shoppers. And I mean, yeah, I think I've seen a picture of you, Roxy. It was last year's Anime Con, and you were doing it's on the tip of my tongue. It was
well, on 3 days convention.
Yeah, with
I almost always do at least 1 day 2 cosplays because I have so many cosplays I want to wear that I need to change. And also on Friday or Saturday, I usually just change to something more simple when the day is almost over.
So
then it's also 2 cosplays, but the second one is more simple, so
more relaxing, more laid back.
You also got a problem, right? Meeting with people and cosplaying in a cosplay group. And they plan it then like in the afternoon, and the other group is also planning a 2 hour after that, so you need to quickly change and go.
Yes, but I never do more than 2 a day. And on one day conventions, I just do 1.
And does the cosplay you bring along, does it depend on the convention itself? Like I can remember AnimeCon being pretty hot outside, and I also had the same scarf-like thing, which isn't breathable at all. It makes you sweat like hell. Is it something you guys keep in mind, or?
No.
No, obviously not. With the tracer.
Yeah, that looked hot, and even the trainee version of Tracer was. I mean, you made a suit out of latex. I mean,
yeah, it was pretty okay. It was still sweaty, but it was a lot better than the leather. And surprisingly, the accelerator itself and the armor parts, was killing me. It was so hot. So it was still hot because of the accelerator. It didn't matter.
Yeah, so regardless of the convention, you would bring along a cosplay that you like and want to wear, if I can put it like that.
Maybe in the future I will think more about it since last time. But so far I haven't really... what you call it? I haven't really thought about the weather before.
And if I can speak out of experience, I know that cos plans change like a day before a convention or a weekend, and you're like, wow, if I made that detail or that prop like this or that way, then it would be so much better, but I'm still gonna do it, yay, even if the convention is like in a few hours. But is that something like you take for granted, or is it also a thing you take in consideration? Like, all right, next year I'm going to plan things better. I'm going to make a schedule, and I'm going to do everything on time. And I see you already laughing. Is there something you you like to say about that?
I cannot imagine that I had like one big convention without a con crunch. It's too sad. I only one time I didn't finish one cosplay. I did not have the time to make it, so I did some knockoff casual-ish version. But oh my god, every time I'm like, okay, Nishikon February, I have, let's say, 2 months to make this cosplay. That is plenty of time. I should be able to finish it. But there's always something happening which makes me unable to finish it without a con crunch. Help.
And at the end of the day, you don't have to tell the truth, but do you, at the end of the line, make it?
I get help. People see that I am stressed, and they're like, okay, maybe let's say, don't be ashamed if your mom helps you with your cosplay. Don't be ashamed. Moms that help with cosplay are a blessing. Accept it. Please so, respect your moms.
Well, that's always a good thing, because to be honest, I told my dad, like, I want to do Eraserhead, and I can't remember how it all went down, but I know that my dad made the scarf thing, out of, I think it was floor isolation and a yeah, it's a bed sheets cover or something. And I remember that I went to the action and was like, all right, so Dad, I have bed sheets. They're comfy. I have bed sheets. Can you use them? And I was like, yeah, bring 5 of them along and we'll... I don't know how he did it, but Dad, if you're listening somewhere, if you're outside my room, thank you. It's the help of others, like parents or friends. Is that something that gets offered a lot, or are you a better? Can you progress more when you do it alone?
But it's like I cannot cooperate with other people because I know what I want with my cosplay in my head, but you cannot always explain it to other people, or they want to do it another way, or it's not like the way you want it. So I basically want to make everything myself, so I know everything will go the way I want. But I'm also the person that sees other people struggling and be like, hey, should I come over and help you with your cosplay? Because that would be awesome if you finish it. Let me help you. So I'm like suffering from a con crunch, but meanwhile I will help my friends. I probably shouldn't, but I do.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that when you have friends coming over for a cosplay day or cosplay weekend. Is that something you would plan for yourself? Like if you have a group cosplay plan that you're maybe like, hey guys, why don't you come over the next weekend and work on whatever cosplay or as a group we have planned, or yeah, just work together and have a fun time. Is that something you would plan with other people, or?
Sad thing, I never do cosplay groups because I never get invited. But not. It's like the cosplay groups I do have are just like amazing people, and we work on our cosplays ourselves. And it's like Maggie and Kaguru projects, and it's always a surprise what everyone is going to cosplay on the meeting. But it's okay. It's always fun, so you're kind of independable. You have to do it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a few cosplays I will do with other people, but they either live in Germany or they already have their cosplay bought from eBay, so there's not much to craft together.
Yeah.
So I will just suffer and manage by myself. But I had a friend who made a Sinbad cosplay, and I'm like all the way from Magi. So I was like, let me help you finish your Sinbad cosplay so we can cosplay together. But yeah, I wish people would come over to work and cosplay together and cosplay. Yeah, I want to do a cosplay. Is anyone in?
Ooh.
What?
Well,
No.
and I was also thinking because there are people. I would say if I would cosplay or do a group cosplay, I think I would be motivated more. But you know, for me, it depends. When I look at the other people's level of skill, then I'm like, oh wait, you are cosplaying for like 70,000 years and your cosplays are way better. I think I'm going to hide behind that bush over there. See ya. Is that something, I know you, Roxy, you are part of Prism. I know the cooperation or getting into Prism, it kind of fell into one place, or just, it came on the spot. Was this something, did you look at their level or skill, or was it like, hey, you cosplay from, let's say, Blackrock Shooter, join us?
Actually it went like that.
I feel like he knows the backstory here.
I don't really know how they started, but one day they asked me to join their cosplay act, and I said yes. I already had my White Rock Shooter cosplay, and they wanted to also from Blacklock Shooter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we came together. And after the cosplay act, everyone was so happy with how everything went. We were all friends, and then we decided to do that thing once a year.
And so that kind of stuck, and yeah, I think we're now 3 years ahead, and
This is gonna be the 5th year.
The 5th year.
Yes.
Wow, that takes a lot of commitment to. Yeah, I can understand. Like after 5 years, you're like, well, should I do something on my own, or
really hard.
I can't.
They do things on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we also do. We have decided to just cosplay what we want, and once a year we choose a cosplay we all want together. Then we cosplay that as a group.
Oh, okay. So you keep the things you like to yourself, because I can imagine, like, if you would cosplay something from, let's say, Halo, and I can imagine that like other group members are like, well, yeah, we don't want to cosplay something from Halo. Then you might be bummed.
We all just cosplay for ourselves, and then once a year we have one thing together.
A big group thing. All right. Esra, is that something? Is it something you would consider joining a group, or?
Well, I'm very demotivated all the time, so I think the group will hate me probably for finishing my cosplay so late. So it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's for me. Maybe when I get more motivation, but probably not. I'll just cosplay with friends once in a while.
Yeah, so you can say that motivation is also a big part of making huge progress with a certain cosplay, or I mean, I know people I know people who can like cosplay for hours on end, and it's like 4 a.m. and they're like, well, I should have slept or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So yeah, motivation is a big thing for you. Yunan, is motivation also a big thing for you, or is it the fun on the road to making that cosplay?
It's a bit of both. If I cosplayed something on a convention, I'm the only one cosplaying it, I will enjoy it less, because it's more fun when you do have people to cosplay it together with. Like, if it's one person, it's already okay, but I remember NishiCon once, and I was the only one cosplaying Magi on the entire convention, and I was the only one. Second of all, nobody knew the character, so I was walking there and nobody recognized me. Someone asked, "Do you cosplay Link from Legend of Zelda?" And I'm like,
oh wow.
Cry. And I didn't enjoy the con that much, but if I know, for example, there is a Haikyuu meeting on a convention, and I do not know any of my friends that will cosplay Haikyuu on that day, I will consider to cosplay it because there's a meeting, so there's always a chance to meet new people. But I always need a plan beforehand, like either my friends are gonna cosplay it as well, or there is a meeting that I can join, otherwise I will probably not cosplay it.
So it either depends on what friends are gonna do, or if there's already a meeting planned.
Yes, I will not want to cosplay something on my own again, except if it's like a cosplay that I really, really, really want to do and nobody knows it, but it's like so cool and big, and I stuffed so much effort into it, then I will wear it, because why put so much effort into a cosplay?
It's something, yeah. All right. And going back to the skill level, I see we also have a question from Canal Debola. Do you feel bad if you're doing like, say, a Spider-Man and someone appears with an Iron Man costume with the LEDs and all the stuff? For example, being a Spider-Man or someone from Magi or maybe a Tracer, and you see someone with like the same cosplay but much more detailed or much better props. Do you feel bad, or doesn't that affect you at all?
It will only affect me if that person is ignorant towards you or other cosplayers that are less skilled. If you like come up to them like, oh, want to take a picture, and they're like, go away, then I'm like, okay, fuck off. Do not. Sorry, bad language. Oops. Like then I will feel bad because it's like he will get all the attention, but he does not give the attention back, and that just makes me sad. Like if you get excluded because a cosplay group already has the character you are cosplaying, yeah, then I will feel sad. But if there is a cosplayer with so much skills and they are willing to like talk to you, and I ask like, oh my god, your cosplay is so awesome, how did you make this? And they like fangirl with you about the character, then it's all fine. Then I will not feel sad. I will only be happy because I will get more experience by their answers. And, you know, maybe a potential new friend. So it depends on the person.
Yeah. Jin, do you have any experiences with, for example, wearing cosplay and you see the same cosplay, or the same someone who cosplays the same cosplay? Wow, cosplayception. And they weren't nice to you, or do you have any examples in where they were nice to you?
Well, the first time I cosplayed was 9 years ago, and it was Mika Hatsune from Vocaloid. Back then, it was very popular, so there was like maybe 30, 40, maybe more Mikus as well. But I feel like back then it was, and now, because back then you would kind of fangirl over each other, like, oh, you're wearing it too? That's so cool. And I feel like nowadays it's sometimes still like that, but not like nowadays it's like you can walk past each other and not say anything. And back then I feel like it was really like you have to stop each other and talk to each other. And yeah, it still happens, but I feel like it's a lot less now.
And do you think that there's a shift in maybe the generation that's now starting to cosplay? I mean, when I'm 21 years old, and I already see people who are like 13 or 14 starting getting into cosplay. And when I was that age, I was sitting alone in my in my room playing Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. And yeah, I mean, is that a generation thing, or is the...
I don't think so. Because when I first cosplayed, I was 11. But back then, everybody was young, pretty much. I feel like everybody's now my age as well. But back then, everybody was very young, and there was a lot younger group. And then in between, there was just this group of people that just got older and older. And I feel like there weren't a younger audience, newer generation coming by in between those years. But I feel like last 2 or 3 years, there is a lot of young people again coming in this community, and I feel like it's so much different from when I was 11 and from these people, because when I was 11 I went with my mom to the convention. I was not allowed to go alone or have a hotel room, but I find that normal for that age. And nowadays girls go by themselves, 12 years old, in a hotel room, and yeah, I think there's a difference between back then and right now with the younger people joining.
Yeah, because if I was a parent and my 12-year-old son or daughter would go like to Anime Con, and he or she would have to travel like for 3 hours with public transport and be alone in a hotel, then I don't know, that just rings a lot of bells with me, like, are you going to be okay, and shouldn't I keep an eye on you, or something like that? Because
I think you aren't even allowed to go alone.
No, I don't think you are.
At that age.
Yeah,
I don't think you
People
are.
still do.
But the thing is, I didn't mind going with my mom. I felt like it was appropriate for that age back then, and I feel like a lot of people joining that are very young right now want to be alone at the convention, which I can kind of understand, but I never felt that need when I was that young to go alone and party all night and stuff like that at the convention. I never had that. So I think there's a difference between back then and right now.
Right now, yeah. I think it's for the new age, for new generation, that it's kind of an escape from reality. I can gravitate towards that in a sense that like you can be someone else for a day. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but at least for me, Eraserhead is something I can. I just love the person and just his mannerisms, his characteristics, the way he looks, the way he acts. Yeah, for me, it's almost like being another person. Is it how you guys also feel about doing certain cosplays, or are you just yourself with a cosplay on? Or it's a difficult question, but I guess it depends. It depends on the person, I think.
I'm pretty much myself, so.
So, for example, if I
yes, but with school friends, you know, I'm like much more in my comfort zone to do crazy stuff and say crazy things than I will do when I'm with neighbors or something. So yes, I'm still myself, but it's like the more creative, crazy version of me, I guess.
Yeah, so you're more into your comfort zone than you aren't afraid of letting certain things go. I think you can say that.
It's like when I travel with the public transport, I'm like cautious, like 24/7. Checking if people are looking at me, and like I will not travel alone in cosplay. I do not like that at all. If I'm with a group, it's okay. But like once I enter the convention doors, I'm like the switch goes on and I'm like all out. But outside of the convention floor, I'm like a little bit more into myself, cautious. I'm not afraid of other people, but I will not like talk to people as easily as on a convention.
Yeah, because have you had any bad experiences while wearing cosplay in public transport? Because I have traveled with public transport and saw like I think it was a Ovarino Seraph cosplayer, and they were like, "Is it Carnival yet?" And I'm like, you don't understand, but I can imagine like getting negative reactions or people saying bad things when traveling with public transport. Have you experienced things like that, or
not necessarily actually, but I do not get that much of bad attention, but that's mostly because I'm like really cautious, and inside the train I will not wear my wig or I will cover most part of my costume. The only time I like got a negative comment was that maybe Tran actually knows, because it was in Utrecht and we had a make-a-cushion meeting and we were sitting there and I wasn't cosplay, a part was not in cosplay. And we were sitting there, and then all the time people came by like, oh, ugly people, oh, look at those weebs. And I'm like, shut up, never again. But mostly there will be people walking up to like, hey, maybe a weird question, but what is happening? What is it what you're wearing? And then I will just explain, what cosplay is, and then most of the time people be like, okay, never knew that existed, but it looks fun, enjoy your convention. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And then it's all fine. Like, furthermore.
Yeah, Ezra, did you get any negative comments when wearing cosplay, like out in the open or when traveling with public transport?
I did have a few negative experiences. I had once, I was from Miraculous, I was cosplay, which is pretty much covered up, but the makeup was very girly. And there was this guy who was just making nasty comments and stalking me while I was going to the convention, and it was very, very annoying. He assumed I was some sort of, I don't know, girl going to a party. But that wasn't the case, and my friend was there, so eventually he stopped chasing. But that's one of the things. And I think it was AnimeCon as well. Yeah. We were from the subway, we were going to my friend's house. There was this drunk guy. And that's already a bad sign. He had like one shoe on. And he was very confused what we were, and it was terrible. He was screaming. I don't know what he was saying. It was like, what are you guys doing? Where are you guys going? And he kept asking us where we were going, and we were like, we're going away. Please don't follow us. But
Maybe that was his cosplay with the one shoe. I mean, it's recognizable. Like,
I even asked him where his shoe was. He didn't know.
Oh, good story. I notice, at least, I'm often talking about AnimeCon as like the be all and end all, like the mother of all conventions. Is AnimeCon, or did you start at other conventions? Or at least I know my first anime convention was AnimeCon, and I had a blast there. What were your first conventions, Yuna?
My first one was Tsunacon and Abunai, and to be honest, I have never been to AnimeCon, and next year will be my first year, so it's really bad. I've been cosplaying for almost 3 years and I have never been to AnimeCon. I have been to Dokumi, I have been to Animagic in Germany, but I have never been to AnimeCon. But it was always like, AnimeCon is too expensive, but it doesn't make sense because Abunai is like just as expensive.
Yeah.
And drama and hotel room drama.
Hotel games.
Hotel games. Very dangerous game.
Yeah, it will be AnimeCon next year.
Yeah.
All right, and I heard you say Abunai also a few times. Is that your favorite con, or do you more prefer the German conventions?
There's a huge difference between Dutch and German cons. I think in the Netherlands, it's like we're like more connected to each other and more likely to approach each other to compliment each other's cosplay or like befriend people. In Germany, people are a lot more into themselves and into their own groups and going for the fame and the photographers. I noticed a lot, and I don't know, but Abunai is basically my mother con, but it's not necessarily my favorite con. I do not know what my favorite con would be. Like to be honest, I do not enjoy conventions as much as I used to. Usually when I went to conventions, I would get all excited, sitting in a car, sitting in a train, like, oh my god, we're almost there, we're almost at the convention, friends, anime, cosplay. But now I'm like, even when I'm on the con, I'm still not excited that I'm actually on the con. It really needs more, I guess. I need more friends and cosplay, I suppose, and better events. I don't know what it is, but people, level up your conventions. Let me get a worthy convention for my money, please. I don't know how it's with you guys, but last Abunai, the most enjoyable moments were actually Abunai Beats and Deshima, and that's like kind of sad to go to Abunai only for Deshima and Abunai Beats. It's like, well, beating on Abunai, but like I want to enjoy the rest of the convention as well.
Yeah, so a convention has to also offer something else between Abunai Beats and Deshima, because I would go to Deshima and Abunai Beats too, or at least Deshima when it's there. I went to Tomocon, my first Tomocon, because Deshima was there. Jin, is there something when you're going to a convention? Are there some major factors playing part in going to a convention, like what the panels or other things you can do there, or are you just like, all right, I need to go to AnimeCon and Abunai and maybe let's say YayCon, or are you just are you keeping an eye on what factors and things they host there?
I think she's lagging.
I think she's lagging too, I guess.
Hello?
Ezra?
Hello?
Oh, she's back!
Every time I heard beep bop, so I assumed you were talking to her, not me.
No, I was asking you a question.
Yeah.
No problem though. It can happen to anyone.
Now.
I was asking you, are there certain factors that you keep in mind when going to a convention, like the hotel rooms or the panels, or are you or do you have a fixed set of conventions you want to go to?
It's still lagging slightly, but I assume that you mean like what I'm planning on conventions.
And what?
Why would you
go to a convention or a certain convention?
Well, I've been to a lot of conventions, and from experience, I choose the ones I really like, and if I have money for it, then I will go. Certain cons I will save up, like AnimeCon, because I want to go there for sure. And I love the anime competition of AnimeCon. It's my favorite to watch. I always go, so that's something I really like. So if there's anything I really enjoy at a con, I will probably go to that con.
All right. And are there any things in particular, like you mentioned the cosplay competitions? Are you also someone who likes to go to panels, or is it something like, well, I don't pay attention to the panels, I'm there for
not really. I usually just do whatever. I don't really plan my day, but the cosplay convention is something I always go to. That's one thing in my plan, and otherwise I'm going depending on with what friends I'm going. If they want to go visit certain something, I will join them. If not, we will just walk around, see if there's anything to do. But no, I don't really go to panels. This is basically what my convention day looks like. Just walking around, seeing the anime combo.
and relaxing and hanging out with friends, I assume.
Yeah, and shooting.
Ah, that's also a big part of it.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
I can imagine. So when we are looking back to 2017, in terms of cosplay, are there big things that stand out to you, Jin? Like
For my cosplay?
Yeah, cosplays you finished or something you discovered. It's like, whoa, this is the secret goal of El Dorado or something. People need to know about it. Or was 2017 just a normal, regular year, or in terms of cosplay?
I think it's worse. Maybe I'm growing up. But...
Hello?
Oh, she's lagging. Yeah, she's lagging.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, all right. So, which parts of my question did you get? Or, whoa, I think she is.
Hello?
Like,
I can hear you now.
Jin?
Okay, you were saying
Yeah?
something big, and I don't remember.
Yeah. I was asking you if 2017 did that year had a lot of positive or negative things in terms of cosplays, or did something stand out?
Well, I kind of only made Tracer, and I also made an unfinished Noctis, but that's the only thing I really made that year. Oh wait, also Trainee Tracer, but so I don't know what to tell you. I only made 2. So not a positive year, I guess.
And is there something in terms of conventions that you noticed, or you think like, yeah, that convention was really bad in organizing, or other stuff, or maybe positive thing like, whoa, that they did something like that, or?
Well, I can't remember which cons I went to. I think I only went to Anime Con.
No, you also went to Abunai.
Yeah, but I didn't pay a ticket. I stayed in a parking lot.
Ah.
No, but I think one thing, and people will probably argue with me with this, but one thing I noticed is I like Abunai. I've been there a lot, but right now the price for me is a little bit too much for little change over the years. I feel like if they changed more or had more stuff, it would be worth it. But for me, it's just getting a little bit on the expensive
side, yeah.
For what they have.
Someone is echoing really bad.
Oh, is that my?
I don't know.
I'm gonna wait. Move out of my sleeping bag. Maximum effort there. Wait, I hope I didn't turn you guys off. No, I can hear Roxy laugh.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll ask a question from chat. From Bruno the Brazilian. What is your New Year's resolution talking about cosplay, geek culture, etc.? Tantje, do you want to answer this one?
Well, have more time for cosplay. Right now I'm like working out quite a lot. So yeah, hopefully I can get some cosplays done. Still have some unfinished projects. But yeah, get more time for my hobby, basically. Yeah, that's about it. And hopefully my New Year's resolution is going to a lot more new cons in outside the Netherlands, because you have Dokumi coming up, Indonesia. So yeah, want to go there, meet some new people and see what's outside of the Netherlands, in sense of like the cosplay scene.
Alrighty.
And Roxy, what is your New Year's resolution?
I how do you say that?
Do more cosplays or
No, I want to make my cosplays more like
accurate, better?
No, I always when I work on a cosplay, I sometimes get annoyed that it's taking so long, and then I just make it very quick, and then it doesn't look all that good. So I want to
make it more precise.
Yeah, more
faster or efficient. I think you're looking for efficient.
Niet afgeraffeld.
Oh no, you don't want
it to be messy
or
That's called craftsmanship. Like you want to level up your craftsmanship with your cosplay.
And Yunan, what's your New Year's resolution?
Well, that one as well. I'm like, I always get like, oh, I want to make this cosplay pretty, and I get to the stage. Okay, if it looks good on the outside, it's okay. If it's terrible on the inside, nobody will see. But I want to visit as many cons as my money will allow and as my time will allow, and I actually want to, make a cosplay without crunching it. That would be awesome, but that's it, practically.
All right. And Jin, your New Year's resolution, cosplay, culture, anything?
Yeah, my New Year's resolution for next year is that I want to join a cosplay competition. My first one was again, and it was the first convention I did. It's very different from back then, so I really wanted to join a competition, a proper one, and just go on stage and do my thing, and then get off, and then hopefully, I don't know, people like it. That's one thing for me that's kind of big that I'm doing next year. I'm making my dream armor for it as well. So,
can you?
Where should we watch you?
What do you mean?
Where should we watch you?
Which competition? Where are we going to see your grand debut?
Anime Con on Sunday.
Oh, the lazy day of Anime Con.
It won't be a lazy day for me.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds exciting. Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of how nervous you are when you're about to go on stage. I mean, I have a bit of a stage fright, and yeah, I mean, I get nervous from even the slightest of things. Like it's like I'm sweaty, and it's like, oh, I'm not. I don't want to mess it up. Don't want to mess up. Don't want to mess up, and I mess up. But still, it turns out okay in the end. And Terraclaim, your New Year's resolution, and please tell me it's an AC unit inside your suit, because at AnimeCon this year, people were asking if you were even living inside that suit. What was the deal behind the suit? Tell us.
Wait, what? Behind Terraclaim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I had like 2 weeks to make a cosplay, and that's what I came up with, and it was really freaking hot at the convention itself, and yeah, I couldn't even breathe in it, so yeah, it was pretty much rest in pepperoni. But my New Year's resolution is making a decent cosplay that I can wear without dying, and also competing in the cosplay competition. So
so a lot of cool things coming up from you guys. Yeah. It's a lot of the things sound indeed interesting, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those things come true. And yeah, I have no New Year's resolutions. I'm just going to sit in my sleeping bag.
You're gonna be the best helper backstage, though. So.
Oh yeah, I'm going to help you and Roxy backstage, and I hope there's an AC unit there, because if it's AnimeCon is just as hot. It's a frying pan, man. I can't stand that kind of stuff. But again, not much in terms of cosplay. There are some things I would like to do, and there have been a lot of stuff happening personally, which I hope I can create like more free time for myself, because I ended this year pretty not pretty rough, but it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't have a kind of a schedule. It wasn't always like I didn't have a real schedule, and now with some things that changed, I can make some spare time for cosplaying, and I can make my Eraserhead glasses finally. Yay! So yeah, it's a few things I got going on, and yeah, we'll see what 2018 brings for us. As for I have prepared some secret cosplay questions. Secrets. They are simply statements. The thing is that yeah, you can agree or not agree or disagree. I would also like to know your stance on them. I'm going to start with you, Jin. Cosplays must be self-made. They cannot be bought.
No.
I don't agree.
And
As long as you have fun wearing them, like.
Cosplay is about having fun. It doesn't have to be made. If you want to make it, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing. If you want to buy it, do your thing. It's about you enjoying your hobby, not about what others think or, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I bought some cosplays. My first cosplay was bought as well, and recently I bought some cosplays. But I also make most of my cosplays. And I enjoy doing that. But sometimes I just enjoy not working on something and just buying a cosplay to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's even cheaper to buy one than to make it yourself.
And I think that's something you also agree with, Yuna? That like sometimes buying is cheaper than just making it from scratch, or easier.
Yeah, I want the best quality for the lowest price. And to be honest, if you are going to cosplay Haikyuu, do not put the effort into making it yourself. You're probably wasting all your money and your time. You can get, for $18, you can get an entire Haikyuu jersey and you're done. So, that's what I did with Sugawara. Okay, it may not fit perfectly, but it just, spare the effort and the money. Just do not go there. Just do whatever you like. Don't be ashamed. Go for it. Live your life. Peace.
All right, that's a strong statement. And as for another one, it's one I have encountered myself, and it focuses on photography and shoots. A cosplayer. I'm going to start with you, Yunan. A cosplayer should have his or her own photographer, and should not be bothered with smaller photographers, photographers who don't have a 6-foot lens or something like that.
Everybody needs to learn. So if you have a small photographer and you have experience with doing shoots, I think shoots are something that is more like a cooperation between cosplayer and photographer. If you have a cosplayer with no posing experience and a good photographer, the photographer is supposed to help the cosplayer to level up in their posting skills. If it's the opposite around, you have a cosplayer with a lot of experience, and then they should allow the less experienced photographers to also give them a chance to make pictures of them, so they can learn from it as well. If the cosplayers say hey, maybe if you take a picture of my cosplay from that angle, and I will do this. Look, see, you will have a way better picture. It's like it needs to come from both sides. Yeah.
And Jin, is that something you can in that case relate? Like, I know my photographer, or I know the photographer I want to shoot with. Is that someone who you're going to stick with throughout cosplaying, or?
You mean like if I go to a specific photographer?
Lag.
Oh,
Hello?
Yeah.
Do you mean if I like choosing a specific photographer? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I feel fast, very uncomfortable with people that I have never shoot with. So I will only shoot with people I don't really know on conventions themselves. I get really insecure, so I don't really ask people, photographers I don't know, outside of the con to shoot. And I feel like I really choose my photographer based on them knowing my insecurities and not photography, taking photos of my insecurities and stuff, or someone I know that if I tell them, hey, I don't really like this pose, or I don't like this picture, can it be removed, that they will actually do it. Some are against it. You never know if someone will get angry or not. So I usually choose someone I've been with a few times, or I talked with at least a few times. Someone I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, you know what they're doing. You've seen their previous work. You've worked with them before, so it's kind of based on a trust relationship of, hey, I know you can make my pictures or look my cosplay look like this or that, or at least look them good, in my opinion. And in terms of editing, do you do your own editing, Jin, or do you often let the photographers themselves do it for you?
It really depends on the photographer. I have one friend that lets me edit stuff as well, because we have a very similar view on photography. So sometimes when he's busy, I'll edit a few and I'll give it to him, and he's like, oh, I'll change the lightings a bit, and then he'll send it back, and it's like, is there anything you don't like? And if there's like a pimple, I'll be like, okay, and we'll send it back and forth, basically, that stuff. But again, it's with people you really trust and you're really close with. I don't think you can just edit someone's picture that you're not really that close with. I feel like the photographer won't like that, so it's really just a friend thing. I won't do it with people that don't want me to, or that I don't really, that I'm not that close with.
Yeah, so basically photographers, you know. Yunan, have you ever had a picture or received a picture that was taken at a convention, and you looked at it and you thought, oh, well, I don't really like it?
Too many times. Like, I have it a lot because I am relatively tall and photographers appear to be relatively small, so they always catch like this under angle, and it's like not charming at all. So I get a lot of pictures that I do not like. So whenever someone asks if they can take a picture of me, I will always ask, will you put it on social media? Can I see the picture first? If you want a picture and I'm like not completely happy about the picture, but they just want it for their own like convention memories, and they will not do anything with it, I'm like, okay, fine, just do whatever, like keep it. But if people are like, sometimes I got asked for an interview, like they go around conventions interviewing people, and they want a picture to put next to the interview. But if I look at the picture and I'm like, I do not like the picture, I will like kindly ask they will not post the picture, and by like any chances like not post the entire interview because I'm like very picky with pictures. So most of my pictures on my account are selfies because I can choose my own angle, my own light, and it makes it so much easier. You can edit it and you do not have to credit yourself for editing. So that's how I experienced that.
Yeah, so you basically have the last say, final say about how a picture is going to look like and whether you like it or not. Something that also crossed my path is that I noticed that that the cosplayers, at least in this podcast, all agree that cosplay is something you do for fun, and in my opinion, it should be treated like that. I also know that there are cosplayers who try to build themselves as a brand and not as something I just do for fun. You should view it in a way that, I should cosplay something that is that's hyped up at the moment, so I can get a lot of views on Instagram, a lot of likes, a lot of whatever. So I get noticed a lot by also getting sponsorships from bigger companies. The goal of getting sponsorships and being noticed on social media with a lot of likes, that's something you guys pursue, or is it just still fun?
Who's going first?
Both, I guess, because when people like comment on your pictures like, oh my god, your cosplay is so amazing, that lifts me up, that motivates me to cosplay more. So yeah, if I get a lot of good positive feedback on my post, it will motivate me to cosplay it more. If I will not go as far like, okay, Boku no Hero Academy is like the hype, now I need to cosplay a Boku no Hero Academy character. That's not how I work. I will cosplay a character if I like it. But I'm a quite relative small account on Instagram. I have less than 1K followers, so I'm not like this famous popular person, and only a few people maybe once recognize me on a convention, but once, like, even if it are my friends, if they comment like, I kind of created this like canon on Instagram of being the Yunnan cosplayer, and people are like, oh my god, you are my favorite Yunnan cosplayer, you are like the only Yunnan cosplayer, and I'm like, I get fame for my Yunnan cosplay, and I just love it because he's my favorite character of all. So yes, I do it for fun, but when I get positive feedback, it does make me feel better and motivate me more for cosplay.
Okay, so Jin, do you view your cosplay page or in general as a brand, or like is getting likes something that you see as a main goal of cosplaying, or?
No, I mainly have my social media because I like to share my work with others, and I know there's a lot of people who like to see cosplays and stuff, and there's always people out there that like to see your work. And for me, it's also a kind of a confidence boost. If something nice, I would feel a lot better about my cosplay than I would if I didn't post it. But it's not about the likes, because you can have 20,000 likes and have 4 people comment. Like it doesn't really matter. It's always fun. If you have a lot of followers and stuff, yeah, okay, fun. But it shouldn't be just about that. Unless you want to make it your job or something, then go for it, I guess. But it's not something I'm interested in. And for sponsors is, for me, fun, because I feel like it allows you to, we get obviously free stuff, but you spend a lot of money in your cosplays, so it's always nice if someone's like, "Hey, you wanna review our lenses?" And I feel like it's a fun opportunity. It's not really like a job, but it's just for fun, and it's always nice to have less costs for cosplays by getting stuff. But it's not really a goal, but it would be nice. It's always nice.
All right. I've also seen that Bruno the Brazilian, he strikes again, has a question for us. I don't know if you guys talked about this already, but has anyone of you ever been harassed at a convention, and how do you deal with that? Jin, have you ever experienced harassment at a convention?
Yeah, but I don't really think I'd like to talk about that.
Oh, that's not a problem. It's if you don't want to talk about it, then it's
because
it's
I feel like if I tell it, that person or the people know exactly what it, yeah, they will get angry.
Negative.
Even though it's not my fault, but you know.
Yeah. All right. So Yunan, did you ever experience harassment at a convention?
No, actually never. I'm glad I never had it experienced, but no.
Okay, I can understand who would harass the mom character, of course.
Character, I don't know. It's what you call harassment if everyone is drunk on Abanai beats. So no.
Ah.
You know.
I know.
Oh God, I can only imagine how wild that must have been. So Roxy or Silver Nowak, have you ever experienced that harassment at a convention?
Yeah, probably a few times, but one time that I remember very clearly is that one time when my old job was also there selling food, and I had to help them. So I was standing behind the
stand
as Shimakaze,
selling food, and then I was dressed as Shimakaze, and then there was a guy coming to me, and he was like, "Do you want to go to the disco with me? Do you want to dance with me? I want to be your boyfriend or something." And I was really confused. I was just like, no, go away. And then I saw some people I knew, and I yelled at them and just went away. So.
Yeah. And does that affect you a lot, or are you like, well, that's more like one negative thing, but yeah, I can just ignore it, or?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And if you ever experience that,
then you just let it slide. Yeah.
Yeah, or just try to get away, or tell them to go away, or if they don't, then I don't know, go to your friends or go to someone you know, or just pretend to go to someone you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that.
But you should never let anyone just
affect you, or ruin your day.
Let them, don't let them think it's alright to do that.
Yeah, and I can also imagine being a young boy or girl. I think, I think both sides can get harassed, but I can imagine if something bad happens to you on such a young age that it might affect you on the long run. I am happy that I don't know people who have been affected in such a way, but I can only imagine something bad happening, and doing it in such a big way that they don't even want to cosplay anymore. So it is a thing that I think people are keeping an eye on, or making it known that, like, I know there was like a Slender guy at AnimeCon or something. He did some stuff, and people were like, one snap he was like, "Oh, it was the Slender guy or another guy," and they get pretty known pretty quickly in the community.
I also remember a really long time ago when AnimeCon was still at the old
Location.
their old location, me and one of my friends went to our hotel room, and suddenly 2 guys started to follow us, just talking. It was nothing weird then, but they kept following us to the room, and we went in the room, but they blocked the door and wanted to go inside.
What?
I don't know.
That is weird.
And yeah, they wanted to go inside, but we managed to push them out. And later we went downstairs and complained to AnimeCon about those people. But they were people from outside. More people had complained about them.
I feel like a lot of people see this convention as a chance to get laid, and a chance to do stuff that's not really allowed in the normal world. They assume that, oh yeah, I'll go with you to the room. You want me to go with you to the room, right? But it's not that case.
But it's often the people who are not
familiar with the community.
They are not from the convention themselves.
Yeah.
They're outsiders.
Yeah.
Coming in and think they can do stuff.
Exactly. That's what I kind of meant. It's usually the people that only went once or twice that think, oh, it's okay, right? It's okay because, well, this is such a crazy place and people are dressed funny, so they think it's okay, but it's not. And it's usually the newcomers or the kind of more normal people.
Yeah. So so that's a bad thing that you can or might experience at a convention. Going back to the convention, we've also talked about, of course, the big old AnimeCon, the Abunai. Is there something you would like to see different, like maybe a convention that is held on a beach or something, or is it something you guys would like to see in the future, or are you okay with the current, maybe still conventions that aren't trying to innovate, or would you like to see something different for a while? It's Silver Nowak, Roxy. Would you like to see a convention at a beach or something, or a zoo, or?
Are you trying to make me say that I want to have FeanCon?
No. You can go to FeanCon, but I have noticed that, like, going to Tomocon, for example, there isn't anything appealing, at least for me, besides Deshima, to really go there. In my opinion, I would love to have something like FeanCon that has a pool, which in a very different environment. I mean, surrounded by woods, by trees, creating great opportunities to have great photo shoots. And I don't know. I would love to see something radically different at the convention, but I have a feeling that won't happen because conventions aren't a get rich quick, expand quick kind of business. So I am afraid that we have to go to other countries to experience such a thing. But are there any new innovations that you would like to see? Jin, for example, is there something you could name off the top of your head? Like, I want to see that, or? Well,
I had a convention in my own mind. It's very similar to FinCon actually, but it will never happen because I'm not good at organizing and stuff. But I want to point out that AnimeCon and all the older conventions, they all started in a different location. I feel like if you want to start a convention, you don't have to go too big in the beginning. Because people are still doubting, do I want to go? I never went here. and stuff. But they all start small, and eventually people go and they will enjoy it, and they will realize, oh, this is a convention I really like. So it will grow, but it will take time. And for now, the conventions that we have, I don't think, in my opinion, there's really something we can add that's really big. But if someone could do it, it would be great. But usually it takes time.
Also the Netherlands is really small, and we already have a lot of conventions.
Yeah, we have a lot of conventions already.
So there's not a lot of space to provide something fresh or exciting.
I feel like cosplayers want to go to every convention. And I feel like they spend all their money on it. And so they get a little bit pickier with, do I really want to go to that new convention that I don't even know? So you really have to put yourself out there to show them, hey, this is different. It will be great if people realize that conventions start small and give small conventions a chance, but they do have to realize that a lot of money is being spent in smaller conventions we already have.
Yeah. So conventions shouldn't be like, hey, we got this amazing ideas, with amazing accommodations and stuff like that, but it's gonna cost you 3 ribs and 1 liver or something. So yeah,
I feel like it's possible, but I feel like it will take time, and it's maybe necessary to start small first. But if you can do it big in the beginning, it's great. But it will take time. That's all I can think of. AnimeCon was in another location as well. I think it even changed 2 times. I don't remember correctly, but we'll get there.
All right.
Yeah, and people need to give them a chance, right?
Yeah.
Sure. A lot of conventions in 2018, a lot of small conventions take a lot of money. But yeah, I think if you grow up in the community and then go to conventions a lot, a couple of years, then you are ready for some changes, right?
There actually is a new convention, a new upcoming convention. I thought it was in June, and it's completely organized by cosplay fans, so they will focus on cosplay, but both like comic cosplays and anime cosplays and game cosplays. So they want to, blur the lines between an anime convention and a comic con, and they will hold it in a football stadium. So it's a bit of a change. So if you are interested, not that I'm promoting, because I am not sponsored, but it's called Heroes Dome. So if you're like looking for something new, you can check it out.
Me neither.
The prices
Sounds
are
interesting.
quite cheap right now, and cosplayers get a discount. So
cosplayer discount.
That sounds interesting.
Do they have a website or something?
They do not have they do have a website, but I saw it in a newspaper, so they do not know how to get attention yet. So I'm like a bit into promoting. But it's called Heroes Dome. The website looks kind of cheap, but they are really trying their best to get good guests and artists and a little bit of everything. So I'm definitely gonna check it out.
All right. Well, it sounds exciting. I'm always up for something new and refreshing, because when I look at Abunai, I noticed that a lot of people were just chilling outside, and I've been inside the building, and I was like, all right, around the corner, another corridor, around the next corner, another corridor. Am I walking in circles? What's going on here? And I was like, yeah, well, if that is Abunai, then I'm not that interested in going. But Yeah, like I said, I think, and I sincerely hope that a convention like FeenCon or Heroes Dome, was it called?
Yeah, here
I,
was them.
I hope such conventions succeed and keep growing, because I think there is still place for a new convention between the AnimeCon and the TomoCon, to name a few, and of course Abunai. But yeah, that's at least something I'm looking forward to. Another thing that I was also looking forward to was the screening of Evergreen. No, it was Violet Evergarden. Tantje, you know the thing they did at Animagic, the streaming. Yeah, I have to admit I am guilty, very guilty. I don't watch a lot of anime anymore because of work and time constraints. So the things I do would like to view, yeah, they do get a screening in Europe. But it's like in Germany, and it's not so close by. But do you think that having screenings of a big anime with Q&As with the anime directors or producers is something that could hype up a convention or make it grow? Trantje?
Yeah, for sure. If you look at Comic-Con, hiring all those actors and actresses, directors to get some Q&A, they can get a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's not often done in the anime convention scene. So
Yes.
I would like
Oh
to.
my god, yes. Anime cons need to listen to their customers. Like, there are so many big cosplay accounts, and everyone is always like, oh, please come to AnimeCon, and they're like, yeah, but we need to get invited by the con, and then we all go to the con, like, please invite these people, and then the con comes, and there are cosplayers that maybe 3 people have heard of, and that's like such a big waste. Like, go for it, invite those people, like, investigate in what you're, we're at the end all customers at the conventions, so like, investigate what your customers want, then you will level up like big time, I think.
Yeah. And it baffles me because of course Yuri on Ice was a big hit this year. Correct me if I say that wrong, but it baffles me that there wasn't a Yuri on Ice thing going on or something, or I missed out on it. I'm not a kind of guy that goes to a convention and watches anime, but I think if they would have someone from Yuri on Ice like be there, it would like blow up. But yeah, I think they didn't do it, or I mean, just like Sword Art Online, Ordinal Skill, the new movie. I know they had a premiere in London or something. I thought it was London, and even the Japanese voice actor was there. And like, why can't like AnimeCon do it? Like, come on, you guys.
I do think you have to remember that there's cosplayers out there that do get asked for conventions, but they pay a little and they don't want to go because it's way too little for them to actually want to go there. And I think it's the same with actors and voice actors. Sometimes they have a really high price, and I don't think everyone or every convention can afford it yet. So I think for the convention, finding the right person with the right price, with a fair price, and with a lot of fans, I feel like the more popular it is, the more expensive the actor is going to be. And I think that's also a problem, but it would be cool if we could get more popular things that are cool at that moment. But I think this is one of the reasons maybe why it isn't possible.
Because of the prices they ask and
the
other stuff. I mean, I also think that they are viewing a convention like, all right, so what are the visitor counts and how many people go there and how do they market themselves? So it's I think it's a pity, because when we look at Kimi no Na wa, I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere in the Netherlands, like boom, Pathé, The Hague. I think also Eindhoven, Amsterdam, stuff like that. I was like, where did that come from? And I was at the screening in The Hague, and it was like the guy from AnimeCon was like, so it is possible, but yeah, are there any movies or anime series that you would like to have a screening in Netherlands? Or no, Yunan, is there an upcoming anime movie or series that you are looking forward to that should have a screening?
If I talk about seasons that need to appear, then I'll say #Magi season 3. But I'm not sure if there. Maybe there's a thing going around with the Kaguru project. There is supposed to be a new like anime movie-ish thing, and I think it's released. I don't know, but if it like were to be shown on a convention, the entire Vocaloid clan will rise up and be like, "Let's we need to go there."
All right. So there are at least a few things to look forward. Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, like, now it even stuns me more. Like, we need more anime. We need more anime screenings and stuff. And yeah, Terraclaim, is there something you are looking forward to? An anime or a movie? Or are you just like me, silently hiding the fact that you are watching less and less anime? You can admit, I did too. #I did too. Terraclaim? We can't hear you.
Mute.
Muted.
I can't. You can talk in hand signals, like. Ooh. All right. We'll come back later. So the next thing, wow, it's like this podcast is getting riddled with confessions of me not doing things. Also games, which I haven't played a lot of in 2017.
Hello?
Yes, he's back.
Okay. What the fuck? I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I've never really watched anime at the first place, so I've been more of a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So not really looking forward to anime.
Oh.
But,
Woo.
Whoa. Now we're getting...
I've watched my fair share of anime, but I haven't for like 3 years now, so...
Oh, so you're kind of out of touch like me, like...
Yeah, pretty much.
Being hyped for Boku no Hero Season 1, and people are like, man, it's Season 5 already. Or stuff like that.
New free season is coming out.
I haven't even watched that, so... But no, it's fine. It's I just cosplay games, so we'll see about that.
And have there been any games in 2017 that really got your attention, or like grabbed you and were like, bam, you started at 8 a.m. Now it's 12 p.m. midnight.
No, not really. 2017 has been pretty disappointing. 2016 was a lot better. I think that's when Overwatch released, and Zelda as well.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So we'd have Mario Odyssey, but I'm not gonna cosplay Mario, so.
Why not?
I would. No, I think you're more Princess Peach kinda guy, woman.
Well, I'd say Toad, but you know.
Toad is awesome. Like, imagine yourself having a big mushroom on your head, and people be like, "Wow, he's high." Sorry, bad pun.
Exactly. So yeah, moving on.
Randje, yeah, every time I hear you talk, I'm like afraid that you might ask me a question about Doki Doki Literature Club, because I haven't played that one, and I know you and your younger brother are almost harassing me. I got harassed too, but the game was still. Yeah, was it that good? And is it something that belongs in the spotlights of 2017?
No, it's just like a fun troll game, right? If you haven't played a lot of those type of games, then you should try it out. It's pretty fun. But I think 2017 was like mediocre on the gaming part. Like, not a lot of innovation, a lot of rehashing, remastered HD variants and stuff. So yeah, maybe VR is coming up, but yeah, I'm not a VR gamer yet.
No, it's I've done it once at a first look, and it was cool, but I cannot imagine myself playing Doom and going all like nauseous over the place and stuff like that. But I would really love to see Zenyatta in VR, the tranquility. Getting carried away. So, Jin, did you have any games that like? I mean, yeah. When I think of the games you play, I immediately think of Overwatch. I don't know if that is a bad thing or a prejudice, but
no, I do play a lot of Overwatch. Do you want me to name some of the games I'm currently playing, or I'm looking forward to?
Yeah, games you have played in 2017 that really stood out.
Well, Overwatch was really one I spent a lot of time in this year. I recently got Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm really, really enjoying it so far. It's really cool. I recommend it to everyone. So those two are on top of my head the ones I really enjoyed this year.
And also looking forward to the amazing game of Monster Hunter World.
Yes, Monster Hunter World.
Oh,
yes, I'm so excited.
I've played it, and I saw the movements of I chose a guy with a sword. I thought, it was a katana like sword. I saw his movements, and I was like, that is exactly the same from Monster Hunter Freedom 2, and I love it. It's just like so beautiful, and how monsters can have like turf wars and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun with that's a minor gripe with friends, because you aren't going to play Monster Hunter on your own. I mean, you need that party. And you need it a lot.
I mean, you can play it on your own, but it's a lot more fun with friends, and a lot of times there's a limited amount of quests you can do on your own. Well, you can do multiplayer games quests on your own, but it's not fun. Well, so it's really based on playing with your friends and just hunting together. It's really fun. It really is.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
When the monster finally goes down, you'll be like screaming on the top of your lungs, like, "Yeah, I invested 3 hours in killing you." Or
3 hours. Damn.
I got beaten 5 times with a friend. We were like, "Yeah, we can take him on with like a party of two of us two." Not gonna happen. We need to double that, so that was pretty bad. And I think Yunnan is in the Toki Toki Literature Club, I think.
No, I will not go there. I also didn't play Mystic Messenger. I'm so proud of myself. No, I do not play games at all, actually. I do not have the right equipment for gaming, actually.
Yeah, but I am convinced that Trantje will convince us to play it. I have a bad feeling about that.
He will not. I will stand tall. I will not play it. You will not get me.
I can see him smiling, and Trantje smiling is always a bad thing. So, of course, 2018 is going to be filled with a lot of great stuff. We started, of course, the podcast with our New Year's resolutions, which I hope will come true. And of course, visiting conventions, doing new awesome cosplays. And I would like to thank Yuna, Pandora. Damn it, Pandora's cosplay box. Did I do it right? Yes. All right. So, where can people find you on the socials, on social media?
Mostly, actually, only on Instagram, to be honest. I do not do Facebook pages or anything.
All right. And of course, a big thank you to Jinoga. Jin, where can people find you on the socials?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all under the same name, Jinoga Cosplay. If there's any other social media I forgot, just look for Jinoga Cosplay and you'll find it.
All right, and you, Roxy, Silver Nowak, where can we find you on the socials?
On Facebook, it's Roxy Cosplay, and Instagram and Twitch, Silver Nowak, and yeah, that's it. I think that's where I'm most active.
All right, and you, Terra Claim? If we can hear,
just on Facebook, Tarek Lame. That's pretty much it. But you don't have to follow it.
All right, nice and simple. And you, Trantje, can people also find you on Facebook or the socials?
Yeah, just look for Trantje. I will pop up somewhere in the search results.
I think you certainly do. So that wraps up the podcast, the end of the year, a podcast of DCD. How did you people experience it? Because to be honest, I am sweating like hell, and I'm going to go out of my sleeping bag. Oh my god! Oh, Jesus!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, well, I survive. So yeah, how did you guys experience it all? Would you like to come again, Yunan?
Yes, I enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect, but I really enjoyed it.
Yay! Well, to be honest, it was also the first time for me to host it, and in my head there were a lot of things I had to remember and go through. We have to discuss that stuff, and I think I've forgotten a lot of stuff, but. Yeah, I know I did, and it feels like, oh man, I'm gonna be burned for this.
We'll just have to do that another time, I guess. So
I have to practice a lot. Jinoga, how did it go for you? How did you experience it? Do you have any tips also for me? Because, I have a dry throat now.
Yeah, so maybe
how did you experience it?
We should all have a drink ready, because I'm really thirsty as well.
I don't have anything to drink here.
Just big bottle.
Don't mock us today.
I need to stay hydrated. And Jin, how did you experience the podcast?
It was a lot of fun. I feel like I can talk for hours. I'm not going to, but it's fun talking with people about cosplaying and gaming and stuff once in a while. So,
all right, and would you like to come again on the podcast?
Sure, why not?
Yay! +1 for me and the podcast. Silver Nowak, Roxy, you have been on the previous parts of previous editions of the podcast. How did you experience it? Because it was my first try, and I think the previous editions weren't with a lot of people, that many. Yeah. So how did you experience that?
Well, it was good, but I think you or we have to switch on talking to each other, because sometimes it looks like you're talking to only one person.
I need to practice on that. For me it was like, oh, damn! I need to talk about that. I have 2 guests, and I need to give everybody a lot of attention. And
yes.
So it got a lot of.
You did a good job.
Good to hear that. Trantje, how did you think it was going? How did you experience it?
Well, working on the behind scenes with broadcasting stuff, so that was a new thing for me. Hopefully it went good, and we'd like to thank our guests for coming here, joining us. And I love to talk about cosplay and talking about your experience, right? talking with people and enjoying it and reliving the experience that you got on conventions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Terraclaim, how did you experience it besides the?
Oh, that, yeah. I mean,
It was low blow
talking
me.
all the
I
time,
admit,
and I was
I
wondering why nobody responded. So, no, it was good. A lot more people than usual because the past 2 times we had 3 people and now we have 6. So,
it's a small start. It's a small start indeed.
But yeah, it was fun. So, always good to talk about cosplay.
All right, it's great to hear. Yeah, the next podcast will be in, I guess,
Next month.
Next month, yeah.
Next year.
Ooh, next year. Oh, we're gonna not talk about my New Year's resolutions. We're gonna hide in my sleeping bag again. But
when is it gonna be?
At the end.
Yeah, the end of the month. It still has to be decided on which
Close
day.
to my birthday.
Maybe on your birthday. I think it will be the 26th or the 27th.
Oh, that's really.
Is that like? Wait, when's your birthday?
It's
29th.
Oh, but well, maybe we can always make an exception. I mean,
It's lagging.
but then if we do that, I expect like party poppers and like party hats and stuff like that.
What?
Well, we're going to host it on your birthday, of course.
Oh yeah.
Party poppers and
I don't,
stuff.
But I can buy some.
All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Also, shout out to the people who dropped some questions, of course, in the chat, and of course the people who joined me in the podcast. Of course, shout out to you, Jinoga Cosplay, and of course to you, Yunan, Pandora's Cosplay Box. One time, I did it. Woo! So yeah, we'll see you people the next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.